That beautiful smooth track was Here We Be, and that was by Peter Nic. Peter is a singer-songwriter from Adelaide. He's known for his soul, pop and R&B tunes. Since releasing his last album, Here We Be, which you just heard the title track of, back in 2014, he's been busy playing gigs around the state, and he's now getting ready to release a new album. And he joins me in the studio now. Good morning, Peter.
Good morning.
Thanks for coming out on your day off.
Oh, that's every day's almost a day off in the morning for me. It's late nights for me, and so it is actually kind of like an effort, I have to say, because after being up and recording and mixing until like 4 or 5 in the morning, it's like, oh, I got a radio interview and I got to get up. It's one of those things.
Yeah. So you've basically just released a new album,
Yeah.
or not released, sorry, recorded a new album.
Recorded. It's soon to be released. It should be released. Aiming for around Thursday, Friday, depending on finalisation of mastering.
Yep. And where did you record it at?
Recorded it at my home studio. I mean, it's kind of beyond a home studio at the moment. It's a little bit more. It's become more of a professional, semi-professional kind of studio. We have almost everything that a professional studio would have, in basically inside a home. So.
A lot of people do record at home. I mean, you know, with the Adobe and all sorts of things these days, you can do that. Do you record the vocals at home, or did you go into a studio?
I did actually everything at home.
Yep.
And the funny story about it is I had to sort of make a deal with my parents and say, look, I just need basically 5 days, and the living room is going to become a live room, and we're going to have drums in it. So where that ironing board and the couch and all that kind of stuff is, it's like, yeah, that's the drum kit right now. And then we found this awesome Gumtree deal where we got these from an office that was parting out all their old equipment. All of these partitions that had like glass and carpet.
Oh, awesome!
Put all of those up basically.
Around the drums, yeah.
Yeah, around the drums, and the couch was up in the corner. So everything was done at home. The vocals, the guitars, absolutely everything.
Yeah. Do you mind telling us what kind of vocal mic you used?
I used 2 vocal microphones. I used, for the majority of the album, I used a Neumann TLM 103, and for a couple of the more intimate sort of ballady songs, I used an SEG 3500, which is a really sweet mic as well.
Yeah, and it's something I think that some people do forget about, that, you know, if you should always, even if you don't own one, go and hire a really good mic for your vocals if you record at home. It's pretty important.
So worth it, yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Totally. Now, you're a multi-instrumentalist, and you played a lot of the instruments on this album.
Yeah. I did all of the guitars, I did some keyboards, I did all of the bass, all of the vocals. I had quite a few people coming in to play different sort of parts, so I would have a certain vibe, a certain emotion I'm trying to evoke. So I would go, you know what, this keyboard player really has this thing that I like, that I know, so I'd give him a call, and you know, we would sort that out. But I had a couple of great drummers. I had Ben Todd as well come in. For those who don't know, he was playing for Cirque du Soleil for 5 years, and he's a great guy. I had another upcoming drummer, Alex Flood, as well, who is quite hot on Instagram at the moment with his drum playing and his clips and stuff. So some really good talent that sort of brought a new level to the album that I was really searching for.
And what was some of the inspiration behind getting the songs together for this album?
This was a really rough period of my life. I was actually having, it's weird to say, but I was having almost like an overseas relationship thing, and it really played with my head for quite a while. You'd have to hear the album to understand, but in short, it was a very messed up sort of period, and some of those songs, even when I hear them now, I feel like I'm right back in that place, as in I captured that moment really well, I think. So it's basically come from a very unusual relationship and time in my life where I didn't have a lot of big things happening, but I had a lot of strange things happening. So.
And can I ask you on a personal note, that relationship is over, I assume?
Yeah, yes.
Well, I do look forward to hearing the album. Now, when you get out and play live, obviously you get your band together, call everyone up.
Yeah, I haven't done a whole lot of live gigs, and I did plan on originally, you know, live, going to tour and all that kind of stuff. But straight after the Here We Be album in 2014, when I was in that mindset, I did a few live gigs, and then I started doing like YouTube covers, and then I started sort of taking a different avenue, because as most of us know now, it's like YouTube is the new medium. It's almost the only thing that people really go to for new content on the internet. Obviously, there's streaming media like, you know, music sort of streaming, Spotify, but I started doing that stuff more than like live gigs and appearances. So my plans now for this upcoming album is basically to push the live scene a bit more and travel overseas and start to tackle that sort of field. And
you said that you hope the album's out later this week.
Yeah.
Can you give us a name, bit of a clue, or you want to keep that under?
No, it's cool. Chances are.
Chances
I'm
are.
very proud of the name. And a lot of the time, it's people would think, chances are, okay, so what? Like what? And I'm like, exactly. You know, this is the whole. It's the idea, and I came up with the album name almost like pretty much when the previous album was actually being mastered. I was like, oh yeah, because I had a song called Chances Are, which didn't make the record, which is kind of funny. But I'm also a fan of not having sort of like a title track as well. Even though I have one on my previous album, I like the fact that this one doesn't have it. It's like, oh, there's the mystery.
I'm speaking with Peter Nic about his work, his most recent album, Here We Be, and particularly about his upcoming album, Chances Are, which is going to be dropped sometime later this week. I assume that you've got a website that you're going to be selling it on there as well, and that people can order it anyway.
Yeah, it's currently it's under construction. It doesn't look very good right now, so I probably won't recommend it. But you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, you know, the works. You can find me on all those kinds of things, Facebook. So I will be putting it on iTunes, and it'll be on Spotify. So yeah, it's basically, that's like the first thing that sort of happens, and then I share links, and then people can purchase on my website later on.
Well, it sounds pretty cool. You've been described as jazz, R&B, pop, I think even soul might have crept in there somewhere. Do you find yourself drawn particularly to any one of those genres, or do you even think that that's a good definition? How would you describe yourself?
I think that's kind of changed, and I kind of expected it to, because it's almost typical that when you start off somewhere, it's like you get to a point where, okay, yeah, this is where I am right now, but then next year it's like you go through a different series of events, or you start to learn something new, and then that changes something about your soul. It changes something about who you are, and your genre just starts to change. It starts to drift a bit. And I feel like from what you just mentioned, I feel like I've gone to almost a more rocky, slightly heavier side in this new album.
You mentioned before about getting your mate in to play a particular keyboard track, and you, excuse me, said that you were trying to express emotion,
yeah,
and that you felt that you've captured that. How important is that for you?
That's just like, I can't explain it. It's very important. It's one of those things that I would cut a track off the album if it just doesn't say or like make me feel the way that it made me feel when I originally felt it, when I created it. I'm like, no, it's not good enough. And I had only last week, I just cut a track off the album. Everything was done. It sounded good, like recording quality wise, and I got it pretty good, but the vocal just wasn't right on it, and the guitars were just a bit bare. I'm like, nah, it's not gonna make it. So I cut that one off. Originally, the Chances Are album was 14 tracks long. It's now 12, and it's staying 12, but that's what happens sort of last minute. So the emotion side of things is extremely important. It has to come through.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you this morning, Peter.
Yeah, you too.
And are you planning a launch gig for the album?
I haven't got one planned as of yet. I'm actually planning a music video right now. So that's sort of like the first thing in the books. And I probably will do a launch probably sometime in the next month or two. But at the moment, it's more about the content on the internet. At the moment, that's sort of where I'm aiming it towards.
Cool. Well, as I said, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you this morning, and if people want to find Peter's new album, Chances Are, then keep an eye out on the internet, because it's going to be out later this week. Cheers, thanks, Peter. Now,
thanks.
Do you want to introduce the song we're going to play?
Yeah, this next one is the third track off the Here We Be album. It's a song I wrote in 2014 called Outer.
Cheers, man.
Cool, thanks very much.
That was cool.
That was great. It's always over so quick, hey?
Yeah. Was that cool for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Excellent.
No worries.
I was thinking